Well, you've got to play with some incredibly talented other people. I mean, you're incredibly talented yourself. How many instruments do you play, James?
Oh, I play so many instruments. I play one.
So you're the keyboard guy.
I play keyboards, but of course I do everything on my keyboard. So I can be the drummer, I'm the string player, I'm the guitarist, I'm the bass player.
Is that what happens on yours? What's the difference between you doing it and bringing someone into the studio to help you?
You know, Tony, I've expressed this in so many interviews, and obviously it's quite controversial, but I like to do it myself. I'd rather actually do it myself because I know what I want. I know what I want to hear. So, you know, I have incredible sounds on my computer. So, you know, you wouldn't know that it's not a real bass player. You know, I'm playing it on the keyboards. I actually prefer to do everything myself, Tony.
It must take you hours of work, James.
It's a lot of work, Tony. I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
That much I absolutely know.
And OCD when it comes to music and sounds.
But you know what? That's what it takes to be one of the best that there is. It's exactly that, and not just put it together and say. So let's just talk about that. Some of our conversations, James, over the last couple of years, I likened you to one of my jobs. I had a fragrance company, and the nose, he was the former nose of Elizabeth Arden. So he was really a scientist. And I can tell you that working with him was so bloody frustrating because he would never leave the project alone. He was always tweaking it. And there's me and all the investors saying, we've got to get this on the shelves. You know, we're done with it. Are you a little bit like that? Do you get to a point where you finish with the song, or you're happy with it, or you think, well, maybe I'll just tweak that a little bit?
No, unfortunately, I'm tweaking all the time. Tweak.
That's why you have to...
I've got to get it the way I want it to sound.
Yeah.
I've had my own production company since 1989, so that's my main way of earning a living.
So let's talk about that. So you write music for other people?
I'm normally just working with one singer who's a singer-songwriter, and they'll sing a vocal melody to me, and then I'll compose and perform and produce all the music to go with that vocal melody. I mean, of course, it's very much a collaboration. So, you know, I'll say to the client, you know, what sort of production values are you looking for? You know, what in the charts, or can you send me music in the sort of style that you'd like to hear to give me a really good foundation of what they want.
And you can put that together from just a vocal?
I put that together for just a vocal, and also, because I've done this for so many years, since 1989, I guarantee that within just 5 to 8 hours, I would have composed, performed, and produced the complete backing track just from hearing a vocal melody. So a backing track that you could release just between 5 and 8 hours. And I know that that's really, really quick, because some producers can spend days and days and days producing a track for an artist.
You're like a music machine, James.
It's a machine. It is. It is a machine. It is a machine. I know how to do this so well. 5 to 8 hours is to do the music production. Obviously, then they take the music production away, and then they come back once they've done all their homework, worked on their lead vocals, their backing vocals, so that when they come back in the studio, they know their song like the back of the hand, and hopefully they can do it really quickly.
Now, you did a song which I love with Rachel Bell, and that, and I've said to you 100 times, that was an incredibly well put together song.
Thank you.
And the whole thing. Now, we talked about your vocal ability as well.
Well, you know, I've never been confident as a lead vocalist, but I've been doing backing vocals, you know, literally since I was 12 years old with my brothers, because, you know, my brother Mark is the lead vocalist, and Peter and I would do the backing vocals. So on many of my songs, like Say It Back, I'm doing all the big harmony vocals in that one. I have a tune called To Be With You, and I'm actually doing the scat vocals on that one.
Yeah.
But you know, one day I woke up and said, James, you know, you're doing all these backing vocals. Go on, try a lead vocal, a lead vocal. So for the very first time in my life, I wrote a set of lyrics and I wrote a vocal melody, and the song was called Take Me Higher. Yeah. And that got to #1 in a couple of charts.
And it worked. I mean, when you sent that over to me, you said, you know, what do you think of the vocals? I said, the vocals are perfect, they're great. And I couldn't understand what you were worried about, because I was thinking, you know, this is a no-brainer.
Can you imagine? I've never sung a song in my life before. You know, I probably sang Jingle Bells somewhere, but you know, apart from that, I've never ever sung a song. And you know, again, I was in a pool of sweat doing it. Took me about 6 months to finish it, but I got through it.
And I'm just going to tell the listeners one story that sticks out in my mind. When James and I first met a couple of years ago, James was telling me about, he went over to Los Angeles to Spaghettini's, which is a very, very famous jazz venue.
Yeah.
But what James was telling me was, I was so nervous. What was I doing there? And I said, James, whose music were they playing? He said, well, they were all playing my music. And I said, well, there you go. They were playing your music, James. That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible experience. And I've got to thank Mike Parlish again for that, because he invited me as a special guest to his CD launch party. But yeah, I mean, the musicians we were playing with, there was, your namesake Tony Moore on drums,
well,
who plays with Jeff Lorber. He plays with some of the top jazz musicians in the world.
But how big was the band?
There were about six in the band.
Good full sound. But didn't it make you feel, wow, I've arrived. I'm here in Spaghettini's in Seal Beach, California, listening to some of the best jazz musicians that there are, playing my stuff.
Actually, you are right. I mean, just after 2 years in smooth jazz, I won the Coffee Talk Jazz Radio International Songwriter Award. And then, a little bit later, 6 months later, doing Spaghettini's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and there's another whole side to this as well, and it's not the music, of course, it's the music. But when you've shown me some of your album work, like Cha Cha Chihuahua, who was it, Ralph Urban? Did he do the record cover?
Yeah, he's been absolutely incredible to me.
Yeah, the cover for that album was really beautiful. The colours, the bright red dress, it was really incredible.
Thank you.
So now, James, coming right up to date, you've got your latest single out, and it's called Tripping on Your Smile.
That's correct.
So tell me about that.
That has just been released. That was released on the 18th of January. And I've got an incredible guitarist on this track, and his name is Cameron Pierre. And he's better known as the guitarist with the award-winning CBE, OBE saxophone player Courtney Pine from the UK. Courtney Pine is the number one jazz sax player here in the UK.
That's incredible, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, so, a guy to play with him, I mean, that was a great, great session.
The graphics on that and the way it's presented, it's perfect. And I love the single. It is really good.
Oh, thank you so much, Tony.
So how is that doing now? I mean, it's early days yet.
I mean, it's early days. I mean, as I say, it's only just been released. So, please, everybody go out and download that.
I came over to London a couple of years ago to see my daughters, Amanda and Georgia, and James and I met up in a pub in South London. I can't remember the name of the pub. I'd never met James before, but we'd become friends on Facebook. And it is the strangest thing to be waiting there, meeting someone that you've chatted with online, and you've never met them. And I didn't know whether it was going to be a no-no, but we got on great, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. That was a wonderful lunch. Thank you so much for that lunch, and thank you for those 10 beers as well. You've got me so sloshed. I mean, I don't know how I got home. I just don't know how I got home.
It didn't show. But we weren't driving, so it was fine. No, I don't remember the journey back to Ealing, but I know I got home okay because my daughters were picking me up from the station, so that was cool. And I have to mention, ladies and gentlemen, that James and I actually collaborated. My book, One of a Kind, Making It Happen, is now in its second edition, and James very graciously agreed to write a piece of music for the introduction and the outro of my book, and it's called With Love to All of You, and that was the last line in my book, and I thought that was very cool. Thank you, James.
Well, thank you for giving me that opportunity, to be on your book. It's a wonderful opportunity for me, so thanks for that, Tony.
You're very welcome, and I loved it. When I listened to it, it was exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know what I wanted until I heard it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So, James, it was wonderful talking to you, and I know we've spoken many times over the past several years, but what an amazing career that you've had, spanning decades from your work, even at 12 years old, or going back to 4 years old. So just keep doing it. I mean, it's great. Now, any live gigs coming up, James?
I'm really excited about a project of mine called the Key Jam Project.
Okay.
And I've done a few tracks with D Magic. Plan is to start gigging with that project, the Key Jam Project. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that will be good. I mean, to get you out there in front of live audiences instead of in your studio. So, James, thank you very much for spending some time with me. I know you're incredibly busy. And for those that are listening to this, we started the interview at 6 a.m. a.m. US time, so I had to get up pretty early, but I'm normally up at 5, so it's fine for me. So James, would you like to say goodbye to all your fans and all our friends at Glow Time Radio?
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you, Tony, for this interview. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks to all my fans around the world for their incredible support, especially on Facebook. You know, it's great talking to you all. And again, please kindly support me by downloading my music. CD Baby, iTunes, Amazon.com, or my website, jamescolahproductions.com/shop.
All right, well, James, it was great talking to you, and we'll talk again. This isn't just a one-hit wonder, as we say. So I'll love to follow up with you when the band is together and the album's released. We'll follow up with another interview, and we'll talk about it then. So that was my interview with the incredibly talented jazz musician, songwriter, arranger, producer, James Colah. But I want to leave you with one message, all of our listeners on Glow Time Radio, and all our listeners, and especially James fans and Neil's fans, please buy their music. Don't download it for free. For 99 cents, you can get a piece of music that's taken hours, days, weeks or months to produce. And instead you could buy an apple at 99 cents, or a piece of music at 99 cents. An apple, you eat it and it's gone. That one piece of music that you love, you can listen to it forever. So please, help the musicians, buy their music. Thanks to everyone at Glow Time Radio. This is Tony Moore saying goodbye.